Okay, so I added a few things. Added this sort of background here off of a vectorstock.com image, just to give some context that this site's really going to be about layering. And I feel like that's sort of like an advanced skill, which unfortunately is underappreciated in actual web development. But the idea of like layering elements on top of each other is sort of like it's like nice to have, and it's a detail that like kind of only other web developers like notice or understand, but in general, it's impressive, I guess, just because it shows that you are a little bit beyond just like lining things up. So that's gonna be kind of a goal here, is to like do that, and ultimately, I actually want to build like a 3D animation in the background, probably with like 3JS, and maybe something that is mildly interactive, like maybe these dots like do something when you hover over them, sort of like a mysterious kind of thing. But for now, it's just a placeholder to show that we're doing a little visual parallax where the background is doing one thing while the interface is doing another thing, and so that's sort of like an interesting thing going on. And then there is quite a bit of like discoverable UI. Like, for example, these buttons only show up when you hover over them to like go to the next article, which not really accessible, but this site is, in as much as this is a blog to be read, it is also like just kind of visual funness. And let me see, I don't know if I need to do any other changes, but basically, yeah, it's kind of where we are. And I can demonstrate right now, like, for example, I gave a background gradient to all of these things and these blog things, list things. And what you could do is, for example, you can change the opacity. So now, oops. Maybe it doesn't do opacity with gradients. I've actually never done it with gradients, so maybe it doesn't work that way. Okay, maybe it doesn't work with gradients. I'll have to investigate that. That's weird. I thought, that like should work. It probably because these colors actually have to be given an opacity. So I think that's why like it would have to be something where like this was half, yeah, this was given some, okay, that's what I technically want. Whoops, didn't like that either. Black or dark blue. All right, but of course we don't want it that color. We want it to be closer to the brand. So let's try that one. Good. So now you can see there's like a little bit of, more visual things going on. And then even more so, you can add backdrop blur. I think I should blur, backdrop blur. This is like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I mean, I knew this was a thing, but like, I never even really thought about it for a long time. So like, I guess, this background's like really thin, so you can't really see, but it's like blurring the background. And actually, you know what? It might not even work with the gradient. So we might actually have to do background opacity 50, 10. Or maybe it's just blurred so much that like the dots just go to nothing. So that's probably what it is. But yeah, actually, yeah, it's true. So, you know, one thing could be maybe it only blurs on hover. So then you can kind of see it's like the dots are going away. But maybe if actually made them brighter. So this is 100%. So yeah, now it's, yeah, you can kind of see there's like a little blur right here. Of course, this is, I mean, I'm like purposely making this really minimal. So like, it's not meant to be like visually stimulating, but you get the gist, you know. And that's another, you know, it's a lot of things. It's like things that transitions that happen, you know, and let's give it some tween so that, you know, you can kind of, the user feels like, ah, things are happening. And like continuing with this video specifically, I want to definitely do more stuff with, you know, these buttons. Nothing's hovering. There's no, you know, things are pretty stale. And again, this is really for desktop users. Really, there's mobile people are literally going to just look at it and click and not even really even want to see any effects, because you know the mobile attention span is very, very low. So at the end of the day, this is all like in service of desktop users, or basically someone looking at your portfolio, I guess. So like, you know, one big thing is like a hover, right? Hover effects are sort of one of the main things that people look for. Whoops, that's like the whole thing. This should be full. Okay. I think I gave it way too much. So, oh, okay, this is a good lesson. And let's do text left. So I gave this whole thing padding, and now my button effect is not going to do the whole, it's going to like be stuck, whereas I wanted it to fill the thing. So there's two ways to go about it, because actually in my Figma, I was thinking this thing might actually just move when you like hover. So this is kind of like we're getting to a little more like advanced land. You know, it can move when you hover and like does stuff. Versus like each individual one sort of like coming alive. So undecided. So actually, you know, do I have to like undo all the padding just yet? No. But I also recognize that where I store this hover effect probably matters too. So I think what I'm gonna do is create the hover box. Absolute relative. And that's the thing, it's like, where is it relative to? Because now we are stuck inside of this thing. Page 20. So it may actually be that in the parent component we need to like do special padding for certain elements. Or even ultimately, you know, we talked about this line, or I was thinking about this line maybe also moving and doing stuff. So let's actually look at that, since this line already exists out here. And there's a few ways to do it. I think ref is the more is the more performant way. I mean, you could set state and tell this to be like, top 1, top 5, whatever. Which also I think like probably maybe we do want to use state now I think about it, just because maybe this line goes to a different place in addition to it sort of moving around. So let me think about this for a second. If we were, let's just do the effect, because we'll talk about, maybe we'll think about state later after we get it actually working. So let's say this is like the hover bar use ref. And now we're just saying this is HTML element. Oh, it has to be null by default, I believe, which is weird because what's the difference? And then, yeah, like the hover effect. Do I need to use the context? No, I think we can probably just like on hover is a state change probably makes the most sense right now. So like hover, set hover, use state. And I have no idea of this. We are just kind of, oops. Well, you know what? TypeScript.com, set state action. Just, we'll cheat any. Just let it happen. Okay. On mouse over. Set hover. Whoop. Yeah, and now we're like, well, where should it hover? Are these equal increments? Are these actual, things? I think I might cheat right now and just do numerical. So I think the idea would be, we'll do +1. I mean, when too many components happening, set hover. So then right now set hover should be at 0. So we'll just like, would have to, basically we just map it out. We're like, hover states, 0 through 10. And they might be equal. Like it looks like this distance is equal right now. So like maybe we don't need to like specify hover states, and we can just go like, hover, this value gets times from the top. Well, now I think about it, maybe we do need to map it, just because I don't know if Tailwind is gonna like this. But we'll see. I've never really had good experience calculating Tailwind on the fly. It doesn't really like doing that. I mean, that's not what it's designed for. Well, let's make sure our hovers are happening. Okay, hovers are happening. So we need to like, and now I'm already seeing it. When this text breaks, then the thing isn't gonna line up. So already we got some issues here. I'll do just transition. I'll cheat it. So yeah, I don't think Tailwind is gonna really enjoy. Yeah, it's not gonna auto calculate. Well, right here is where it's auto calculating. I don't see it moving, and that's probably because Tailwind is not gonna calculate it. It's generating on the fly. So I think there's a way to force it, but maybe we should probably use spacing. So I think well, instead of the custom spacing, let's just do like top. What is the base? Because maybe we should just use the base. What do they got? Top, right, left, bottom, position. Top 0, 3, 4. Yeah, and it's like they use. I should really read the docs more, but like they use. I don't know what the increments are, but I just literally have to guess every time because I just never know when anything is. So I guess another way to maybe, instead of using Tailwind, which would also is going to be just as hacky, I think, honestly, is we would just use effect the line and hopefully state would catch up. So hover is our dependency, and hover bar current style top. Wait, isn't style? All right, I don't know what hover bar current is ever. Okay. No, can we just? Yeah, we can. What do you mean this? Yeah, this is. See, it does exist, but all right. As HTML div element. It just, yeah, it's so TypeScript makes sense and then doesn't sometimes. So top equals hover times, I don't know, 10, right? Numbers not assignable type string. Okay. Nope. Here it is. Oh, wait. Hover times 10. Oh, that's why. Plus pixel. Maybe top is. Come on. What's going on here? Oh, whoops, wrong element. Ha ha ha. Tricked y'all. I tricked everybody. That is not our element. This is our element down here. So actually, the tailwind thing I was trying to do might have actually worked, but it works like this. Transition all, so we can get some smooth movement. And let's see, I think let's reset ourselves. Okay, so you see it's moving. So we want to probably make it default. So default 0. Well, default 0, it doesn't make sense. Times 1 times 30. Wait, because if it's 0. Okay, so 1, I think it just has to be 1. So then this should be 1. No, I'm just guessing. All right. Well, oh, that's because I see. So, okay. So the thing starts at a certain increment. So actually, maybe we do need to map 0 as specifically 80. So hover equals 0, 80. Otherwise, we can times it by whatever the next increment is. Come on. Of course, I feel like I should be using M's. Oh, then in the next calculation, we add hover. We add it. Cool. No. Yes? You don't like that, do you? Close, but not quite. Also funny, these are not like equally spaced, so I'm curious why that is. Oh, maybe I found the sweet spot. Oh, no, it's because if your number is wrong, then obviously I think the line's going to start flying off. So there you go. There's this cool line. It's changing. And I think we need to also do set hover on the main name on mouse over. Set hover 0. So that for the main one, it'll go back up. Cool. There you go. You got some stuff. So curious, does it stay on blog? And then I'm noticing, yeah, if you go away, you know, it's like, doesn't know what it's gonna stay on basically where you were. So we're gonna have to tie some state to it. Tie actually the navigation to it a little bit. But you know, I'm not gonna right now because I'm gonna just enjoy that this works for right now. And also let's like talk about what else we got, because I think as much as I wanted this line to do stuff, maybe it should grow. That's like a possibility. So for example, you know, maybe we even add, and this is kind of a little advanced, is like, So this thing is doing stuff, but what if when you hovered on it that its height changed, which would be very interesting. Oh, it's not, there. Ooh. Oh, it's going the wrong way, but you get the gist. Yeah, so it'd be like a cool thing, or even that. Oops. Maybe we set it in the use effect where if hover is greater than 0, so it's not the 0, maybe we style the height. Then that means the multiplier is at the top. Oops. Wait, 60, right? Because it gets it to the bottom, so 50 should get it right over it. Well, 50, and then we can do 45. Oops. 100 times 40? Confusing. 30? A little confusing. Wait, something's wrong. Oh, I think it's because I set the initial one so high. 3, 2. Anyway, you get the gist. You'd have to like calculate it. So there's probably like a way better way to do this where you like read the height of every div and recalculate and whatnot. But I'm a little lazy right now. So yeah, like a smarter way might be maybe this link element reports its like height. But that's like coupling things a little bit too much, so I think I'd rather just cheat it for now. But and then another thing was, let's see, can I get this? Okay, I actually don't want this. I want it to be behind it. And yeah, I don't know if I like the line more or I like the hover effect. You know, it's sort of, they all have like kind of different flavors. Maybe I might do both for now. So where are we? Header. So let's undo all of that. Oh, I think it was like 160. And we'll do this height thing. Oh, I think it was 60 was exactly it. So I'll leave it there. I think that's okay. And, you know, this is where I'm thinking like, maybe the hover of the button itself now should be the thing that is giving, giving the sort of effect in addition. So you could combine the two. And you get that. Interesting. And you could like change the duration so it's like a little more fun. And yeah, this is where I'm thinking like maybe instead of P20 everything, you know, because like we want it all to kind of line, you know, span, then I would probably like wrap some of these in P20 and the others are not. But I'm still feeling like, you know, probably kind of what I want to do is actually have a completely separate element appear behind it, because I might want to actually fill it with stuff and not just like use the button click. Although I do recognize that like it's a little ambiguous, you know, like, well, where's the button? Where can I actually click on it? So maybe for now we do the thing I just am talking about right now, which is div class name P20. And really the fear right now I'm having is that I think I want to adjust the padding based on whether we see all this or not. So I'm a little bit like, ugh, maybe I don't want to use padding as my spacing element, and rather I should probably like specify some actual widths here, but I think we're fine. So, okay. PB0, which I'm kind of glad it lets you cheat a little. Hover bar. All right, this is our line dot, and we're, you know, I think we're gonna do some interesting things here too. Maybe, actually, yeah, like one of the hover effects I was thinking for this bar thing is actually it being like, you know, gradients. Okay, and then for nav slider, so what you would do is then these become P20, and then it's like you get a full width button, you know, but now it's like the line doesn't quite match up. So maybe, I don't know if delay a thing? Oh, it is delay. Okay, I can set delay. Yeah, so like, I'm mucking around right now. And maybe not blue, but like dark blue. Yeah, so it's kind of like I'm choosing and then boom. This is the one I want. You know, and like the hover could actually be, I think it could be a gradient. I don't know. Background gradient to, oh. Well, the hover works, but none of the delays work. I don't know if I have to do it like this. Yeah, it's funky. Okay. Doesn't like to transition background gradients. There's probably a proper way to do it. I'm not gonna like stress about it right now, but we'll just stick with main colors. And then actually maybe the click, and that was another thought, was like the click should be, actually I don't know. Nope. Or maybe active. And hover, background dark blue. Oh, okay. Yeah, active does work. So there you go. You get a little flash, although it is weird. I feel like the transition should work for these, but you know. And these are like the little things that ideally someone looking for UI is going to be like, oh, cool, you added little details. You know, you understand how to kind of think outside the box, or like kind of inject some personality into things. And yeah, I'm also already seeing I should probably put like a left arrow here. So anyway, and then for links, I kind of also wanted to show quickly, and actually, yeah, like I think the button, maybe the text should also change color, but some ways to do that would be, I'd probably just do the same effect onto these things, where actually, yeah, see the hover is the thing. So cool. All right, I'm gonna stop it there.